Hi Margaret, hi Christopher, hi Yvette, hi Jonathan. Yes, Margaret, Roxanne, it is a nice rainy weather. However, remember, rain don't fall on everybody house the same way. There are some people who dread when rain falling because of situation where they live flooding and stuff like that. And then there are some who love the rain. It helps with the plants and all that, and they just love the cool weather. So although rain fall on all man house, it will fall the same way. So all those who are under flood waters, those who are worried about landslip, I saw there's a land slippage somewhere in Laventille. And all those who are having challenges with this weather, it's not a new weather. We are a country, the Caribbean is two weathers, really hot and wet. However, sometimes the rainfall, and especially now when they're speaking about climate change, the rainfall and rain pattern is kind of different. We are seeing it and we are seeing more increase in water and all that. So these things are serious things. And for those who, again, are experiencing floods or in situations where their homes may be threatened, I hope that they get all the assistance they can get. This government came in, 29 seats. They could do everything. They will help everything. All the wrongs that the city PNM did, I hope now that they are able to fully exercise their authority to treat with matters like that. I see Khadija Amin, who is the Minister of Rural Development, I think it is. She's out there. She was there time with showing us the vehicles in the corporation. I saw also, it was either a councillor or mayor or one of them out there showing the floodwaters, all that. And I just want to tell them, be careful, because I don't know that they are first responders. I think it's one thing to come to show people the floodwater and all that, but God forbid something happens, you fall in all that, then the resources have to be diverted now to keep you safe. So I would like to tell all those who are adventurous out there, if you're not first responders, you're not trained in that, be careful going out in flood waters, because you want to bring it to show how the place flood and all that, because you don't want that situation where the first responders now from ODPM and all those who are trained in those areas now, instead of going to actually help people who are under flood waters and stuff, now they are having to help you and stuff. That is why when we saw Mrs. Kamala Prasad, when she was Prime Minister back then, in a boat and water boats and coming through water and they pulling and all that, it was inappropriate, because she was the Prime Minister. She is now still, but at that time, 2010-15, she was the Prime Minister, and it means to say that all security and attention would be on her. Anything happen now, it means that all resources would have been put on her and not for what they came there to do. So it is better you are at a command center and your first responders and the people feed you information so you know what it is first before you venture out. Going out there without knowing to get political points, to say, oh, she working or he working and all that, I think is foolhardy. So stay at your command center, get all the information to make sure it is safe first and what's happening, and then you go out, and then after, you'll be able to bring it like that. We like to do things for sure. So And you know this UNC government want people to always like them. They like to be liked. So they're doing things to be liked. So people, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country, under my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. And I strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the great happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. Hi, Melka. Hi, Ernie. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Hanifa, Raymond, and all those who will join as we go along. So let us start one time. You know, we just stick, as I said, the week almost over. Time and tide waits on no one. It had to be because you're not a first respondent. We're running out to show flood water. So anything happen to you, know that divert all the resources now to, because he's a government minister, government employee, whatever, to help you now. Wait on your command center and listen. Let reports come into you so that you know what's happening and up to date, and then they will tell you when it's safe now for you to come out and stuff. Nobody will judge you wrongly. They will understand that you're not a first responder, so you're not supposed to be there. But they like to fool people. I commented that because Jackie, the same extensions and stuff that they were costing the PNM fund, costing Minister of Finance for, and the property tax and all. I don't understand how it have extensions all of us. Look now. I tell all they got 649, no. All they got 649. So this was in the Guardian. Hi Antonio, hi Sharon, hi Philo. 22 hours ago, York wants to come out of Gold Cup group. So that's Dwight York, who is the national coach for the men's football team. Well, you know, Dwight York is a folk hero when it comes to football because he was one of the most successful footballers we have playing with Manchester United and all those clubs out in England. Yeah, so he knows his stuff. So it says a national football coach, Dwight York, is focused on coming out of the group stage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which will be held in the United States and Canada from June the 14th to the 16th. And he believes he may have some new players who may spring some surprises. York's Soca Warriors have been drawn into Group D alongside the host United States, Haiti, and Saudi Arabia, and will open their campaign against the host on June the 15th at the PayPal Park in San Jose from 6 p.m. York, speaking at a virtual press conference for the CONCACAF Gold Cup yesterday, said his focus now is on the United States as their first game, noting that the group is a high-profile one, which the host leads and will be sure to provide a challenge. York Soca Warriors last progressed from the group stage in 2000, and the former national striker, now turned coach, is hoping to improve on that finish. Now, he just turned coach yesterday, just for Trinidad team. He was coaching out there in England or somewhere to do things. So coaching is not new to him. We have played in this competition several times and we haven't done great until the last time when we got out of the group stage in 2000. So that's something we will try to improve on. Ultimately, it's to gain some experience. We have two important games coming up in the World Cup qualifier to make sure that we advance into the knockout stages of the qualifiers. So we have got some work to do. Listen, we have to advance just as much as any other team in this group. And we know that being in such a prestigious group is a high-profile group, with America being the host. We know what they are going to bring to the table, York says, or he explains. So we wish them all the best. I won't continue doing the whole thing, but let us show our support behind Dwight York and our men's national football team. Wish them all the best, and that they stay focused and we bring it home. Most important, we bring it home. Yeah? And though as anything happens that to cost the coach and all kind of thing, right? It's not only up to the coach. It's a team effort. So I'm saying that This one brought a smile to my face. It might be a cynical smile probably, but that's how it goes. One stroke for one and the next stroke for the next one. Hi Maria. So I am seeing that there is only another start to do some scrolling as I tell all them hundreds if I hear them. This is just right. I am seeing 7 hours ago CNC 3 News Buzz Guardian, and it says here government distributes Ghanese rice seeds. Hundreds of certified high-yielding disease-resistant rice seeds from Guyana were distributed to farmers by the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries yesterday. The distribution ceremony took place at the Central Experiment Station, Caroni North Bank Road, Centennial. According to the ministry, this event marked a key milestone in phase 1 of the revitalization and modernization of the rice industry in Trinidad and Tobago. The release said, under this initiative, the ministry successfully procured 100 tons of high-quality rice seed from Guyana for the 2025 rice growing season. The seeds are expected to support the commercial planting of approximately 2,000 acres of land across Trinidad and Tobago. This strategic intervention is part of government's commitment to reducing the national food import bill, improving local agricultural resistance, increasing rice sufficiency. Agriculture Minister Ravi Ratiran said at the event, the ministry is committed to supporting our productivity, your profitability, and your peace of mind. More acreage, higher yields, better grain, better margin, stronger communities, and yes, greater national food security. We must reach a point where local rice is not the exception on the shelf, it is standard on the plate. Rajaram credited strong regional partnership, particularly with the Guyanese government and the Guyana Rice Development Board, for making this initiative possible. I will leave it there. It's ironic. People are applauding this effort about getting the disease-free rice seeds from Guyana. It's just great because all of us in the Caribbean, CARICOM, and all that. But you know what is instructive? When just last year, Dr. Rowley and they got the yam from, I think it's Ghana, if I'm not mistaken, and they were planting them and all that. People had the worst to say. That's why sometimes when I talk, I have to talk, they just have to jump in all defensive, because you know what they say, hurt dogs holler. Because when it's from Africa, the continent, it's thing to be ridiculed and laughed at because they make all kind of joke about it and talk all kind of thing about yam from Africa. We're near the end of it, all kind of jokes about it, and it was about food security also, because we just buy the provision and thing from Grenada and St. Vincent. So when them yams and them develop whatever, we could probably be exporting as another money earner also, and for us also. But they laugh at it. It's the same way when there were talks for us to have a flight or some airspace, something with Africa. One of them jump out with a minister now to talk about nobody to go Africa. But once it is in Guyana, and I go say to them, because I will tell you they go vex with me today, that's quite okay. Because Guyana have a high percentage of people of Indian descent, same thing with Suriname. But Africa is a high percentage of people of African descent. Our country is cosmopolitan, so we should be able to do business freely with anybody. But apparently, in Trinidad and Tobago, when the PNM government make any ties with Africa, in whatever way, it's something to be ridiculed and laughed at. But when the UNC come in and they make ties with like Guyana and Suriname, even India, it will be applauded. Nobody will have a problem. And then they just want to know why it is that I be saying what I have to say. That's not prejudicial and discriminatory practices. Anyhow, I'm thankful that we have the rice coming from Guyana so that they could plant the rice and we could reach to some kind of rice sufficiency in Trinidad and Tobago. We will continue. So I'm seeing that the president would have issued proclamation for the opening of Parliament on Friday. So we might get to see a rare viewing of the Prime Minister of this country coming up as our decessor. So this is in the Guardian here. The spotlight will be on the Red House in Port of Spain on Friday during the launch of the 13th Parliament. President Christine Kangaroo yesterday issued the legal notice of the proclamation from the start of the new term to the Parliament following new term of the Parliament following the April 20th general elections. The election was won by United National Congress-led coalition of interests, and that's the only way there is win an election in this country. They must join with all kind of people. And as on that, it is so unfortunate that the UNC would have won the elections convincingly with a coalition of interests and partners, but yet they are still their supporters on Facebook, still cussing people who they think are PNM or who they know is PNM. And you know the reason why, in my opinion, they have to do that? It comes like when you cheat and you do an exam and you get an A grade. You pass. But the next person got an A grade, but you know them work hard for the never teach. So your win doesn't get satisfying as the person who worked hard to get the grade or whatever the case may be. Because you cheat and you get yours, but there's somebody who worked hard. And that's how the win, in my opinion, come to them who are UNC supporters and still cussing people daily. They will come on my live just now, Cato and Rick Williams, they go come just now. They're still cussing all over others, although they win is because that win is by the default. The no PNM people that come out and vote, they can never win the election. So when they win, they'll be so hateful still. Because the win can't settle on them. It's a real because they know all the same African people that be cussing on Facebook all the time. If African people vote for the UNC can win no election. And they know that as a fact. If the African who does cuss and call all N and hungry and swine and all that, if they vote for UNC can win no election in this country. And if UNC join with other parties, UNC can win no election in this country. But you know what? Convenience. When they want the Africans support, they want nice and smiley and dandelion. And when they get it, hey! So as I was saying here, President Kangaroo proclamation involves the launch of the first session of the 13th Parliament at 1:30 p.m. on Friday. The proclamation also allows any member, if necessary, to attend a sitting virtually while in Trinidad and Tobago with the prior approval of the Speaker of the House of Representatives or the President of the Senate. The event will be a full ceremonial opening with prompt and pageantry expected. Traffic is expected to be diverted from the block surrounding the Red House from around mid-morning. So people with all their cars, all their cars go around that side, around there by the Ting. They will be having real ceremonial thing and pageantry and all kind of back and right. The opening of the 40th Home of Senate, it is the opening of the 13th Parliament. And yet, we are yet to hear. Well, I know with this opening, the opposition leader has to pick the 6 senators because they had to be sworn in before they go across to the Red House. So we're still waiting to see who these 6 senators are, these 6 opposition senators are. And to me, just like the Prime Minister, the opposition leader is a rare sight unless she is campaigning there, here, and everywhere. They were vexed with me. But as I tell people, me ain't dependent on nobody more than my God. I mean obligated to nobody. I took it as I see it, and it's still a love at the end of the day. So let me continue. So in Tobago, people just want to be in political life, public life, and nobody can say not more than but then stay in your private life. I remember there was some case for something, so and this judge, this lawyer, I can't remember the name now, we were talking about judges and judges having thin skin, and the person was saying basically, you're not above reproach once it's done respectfully. Nobody's above you in private life, public life. You have to have a thick skin because you're representing people out there. People will talk about you, your past, your future, your beginning, all kind of thing. You have to be prepared for that, otherwise stay in private life. You can't be vexed with people talking about you and you pay up yourself to lead and people talking about his attack and they're attacking him. I commented that they were vexed with me today. So in Tobago, we must go to Tobago. Come, let we go. Let we go to Tobago. No, darling, they said she will not be opposing everything, Miss Carolyn. I don't know if it's a matter concerning all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that the opposition leader could say that she's not opposing everything. That I don't know if she personally said that or people are saying that on her behalf. I don't know it. I know once it's in the interest of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you still respond. But that must be the new politics that people will be talking about. Pat a cake, make me a cake. I don't know. They go vex with me today. So 21 hours ago in the Guardian, Tobago political parties getting ready for THA poll. With the Tobago's People's Party, TPP, having called on its supporters and assemblymen to prepare for the upcoming Tobago House of Assembly election. Other political parties say that they are already making moves to get ready. People's National Movement Tobago Council leader Ansel Dennis confirmed that the party has already triggered its nomination process in line of the party's constitution. He said the deadline for interested candidates in Tobago West is May the 28th and for Tobago East, June the 11th. We are preparing and we are currently meeting our members and we had some meetings, 16 in total, and we have completed 7 so far, Dennis said. He explained that the party is using these meetings to re-energize members and listen to feedback following the last general election results. In the April 20th general election, the PLM lost both Tobago seats to the TPP. TPP candidates Joel Sampson and David Thomas won Tobago East and West respectively, ending a 9-year hold by the PNM of those seats. Dennis responding to a recent call by TPP leader Faligas for his elected representative to come out of those Prados and Fortunaires and return to the ground, said community outreach should never stop election or not. Elected assemblymen should always remain on the ground. That is part of responsibility to be in touch with the people, not just when an election is coming. So, like TPP leader tell he assemblyman, come out the Prados and the foreigner and meet the people on the ground. Imagine you have to tell them that. Meanwhile, the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, IDA, Dr. Denise Sawyer-Fat Angus, accused Fadi of being conflicted. He really conflicted. In fact, he confused. The chief secretary sounds very conflicted. On one hand, he's urging his party to prepare for election, and on the other, he's trying to rush a fatally flawed autonomy bill through parliament, she said. So Efat Angus believes the real priority should be inclusive consultation, not clinging to power. If his priority is simply holding on to whatever power he thinks he has, then by all means call elections tomorrow. But I believe he is missing a critical opportunity to define his legacy, not by clinging to office, but by showing he truly cares about Tobago's development. She told Guardian Media that IDEA remains focused on responsible leadership and will continue its election preparation up to the day polls are called. As for the Innovative Democratic Alliance, our focus has always been on readiness and responsible leadership. Unlike the Chief Secretary, we are not just focused on winning elections, we are focused on building a better Tobago. Progressive Democratic Patriot political leader Watson Juke said his party will reveal its election readiness at a media conference scheduled for next Monday. The THA election date has not yet been announced, but there are signs of early campaigning. The last election was held on December 6, 2021. The PDP won 14-1 against the PNM. You hear who won it? The PDP, led by Watson Solomon Juke, was the political leader, won 14-1 against the PNM. Where TPP come out from? Yeah, that's the next story. So, hi Daniel, Carolyn. I'm seeing what I have here. Something else like this, Williams, just a minute. Let me see. Yes. This was the minority leader. Just a minute. Let's so we'll go straight to the source because the minority leader for the PNM, Kevin Morris had a press conference today, and it says here, this is from Ms. Williams, Calvin calls out Chief Secretary Fali Augustine on Tobago's autonomy, says the Chief Secretary motion to be debated on Thursday on Tobago's autonomy is selfish, deceptive, and dangerous motion, whereas the Tobago House of Assembly is assigned responsibility for key areas under the 5th Schedule, Act number 40 of 1996. And whereas limitation in legislative authority, regulatory control, and financing continues to affect the THA's ability to fully execute these responsibilities. And whereas since 1977, following the parliamentary motion moved by the Honorable A.N.I. Robinson calling for internal self-government, the people of Tobago have consistently pursued greater autonomy to manage their own affairs more effectively. And whereas, as the newly elected government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago has pledged improved collaboration with the THA, be it resolved that this Assembly welcomes that commitment and signals its readiness to work with the government to advance Tobago's development. And it will be further resolved that the government, through the Attorney General and the Chief Parliamentary Council, work with the THA to expand its legislative and regulatory authority over key areas in the 5th Schedule and to draft the necessary legal amendments in collaboration with the THA legal team. And it be further resolved that the government review all previous versions of the autonomy bills and input from the THA, identify areas of consensus and refinement, and reintroduce the bill in Parliament at the shortest possible period. And it be further resolved that the Chief Secretary transmit this motion and the supporting policy paper to the Prime Minister at the earliest opportunity following its passage. So apparently this is from the Chief Secretary, and that is what Calvin Morris, minority leader, had the press conference about. He's calling out Fali about the Tobago autonomy because the way how this is worded here by Fali, it sounds as though Fali operating as if there has not been documentation, consultation, or nothing on this autonomy bill. So I can understand why Ms. Sawyer-Fat is saying that Fali sounds confused or conflicted. Because I am all confused and conflicted. Because is it that the process to start by the conversation of autonomy and Tobago going to start from scratch? Is it that they're going to look on what is already there because consultation took place for that to reach where it reached? Is it they're going to look and see the fine-tune it, whatever, or is something totally new? I am all conflicted. But I'm sure we will hear more as we go along. So while some years ago when the when the PP was in office, 2010-15, there was a campus built in Dibe, a UE campus built in Dibe. And me really want to know that, I think the conversation was it is in a place where nobody is, it's lonely, it this, it that. Listen, let me read some of the things from it. I didn't pay too much attention because in my mind, what they building a university down there before they understand it. But so that has come back to the fore now, and everybody has a say on it. Everybody has a say. So let me find it here. That's not any Facebook. Let me see if I could get some kind of thing to give you some insight on this university down in Davie. Give me a minute. I'm still trying to think it. Hi Mary, hi Joanne, hi Diamond. Express Milan for extreme land. Right. Okay, so let me see a little thing on it here first. I got this from UWI page, so it's sta.uwi.edu. They usually tell you when you see those sites with edus, it's very reliable. So this was, when was this? I ain't seen the date. Anyways, the information is here. Oh yes, the 29th of March 2017. It says, in 2011, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus was allocated some 100 acres of land in David for its South campus. The expectation was and is that this location would increase access to the underdeserved in our community. Access is a key element of the vision of this regional university. The Mona campus already has a satellite campus in Western Jamaica, and we ourselves have a physical presence in El Dorado with the nursing school. At Mount Hope, with our Faculty of Medical Sciences, in Train City with the Agriculture Innovation Park, and the Department of Creative and Festival Arts in Gordon Street, St. Augustine. While located in different places, these are all parts of the university family. The area in Pinal Debe is a gentle, rolling green field site that once saw sugarcane cultivation. It is easily accessible from the east, west, north, and south Trinidad, and would see the land once again put to use that would regenerate lives and livelihoods in the area and the nation. The concept involves creating an ecosystem between St. Augustine campus and its South campus. Below is an update on the status that should have both context and perspective, right? So it says here, this project has been in the public space for the last 6 years and is now 3 years overdue. Completion of the physical construction has meant changing contractors, and now that the construction is once again on track, the committee responsible for operationalizing has once again been reconstituted. A firm decision with respect to what aspect of UWI teaching and learning will be relocated at the Pinal Debe campus has not yet been decided. The The operationalization committee was reconvened, which comprised representatives from all stakeholder groups, including key administrative departments and the president of the Guild of Students. This committee will be expanded to include additional students representatives, for example, the head of the Law Society, as well as other faculty students, leaders, all students by way of the Guild. So it's everybody, right? So I don't know why it never opened, but let me see what this one have here. This might tell you why it never opened, Papa. Discussion. So, reading this from Wired, this was some time back. I'm not seeing the date here now. It says here, to frame the discussions about UWI Pinal Debe South Campus purely on terms of location is to shortchange the conversation that has long been needed about the TT 309.4 million investment in the expansion of the University of the West Indies. So let me see what again. So this thing has been ongoing. It reminds me of the Brian Lara Stadium. So it's in May 2012, the Construction Industry Joint Consultative Council wrote to the principal of UWI St. Augustine, warning that the South Campus project had all the makings of the next commission of inquiry into a construction fiasco. This was well before the selection contractor, China Jiangsu, got embroiled in the commission of inquiry into the Las Alturas housing development. At that time, the JCC said China Jiangsu had already missed the delivery deadline for ETEC TT 200 million headquarters while pressing ahead with UTT TT 975 million signature building, describing as remarkable the fact that the sod-turning ceremony had taken. What do you think going? So just this little piece again and I done because this thing sounds like good bacchanal. Right. Describing as remarkable the fact that the sod-turning ceremony had taken place a month before the closing date for tenders, the JCC called for the project to be scrapped because of what it considered to be a highly flawed procurement process. So this was 2012. Who was in office? Hey. So now I'm seeing where, like, we want to open the campus, and this is what Mulilali, Minister of Energy and Energy Industry, had to say. I want to know how we end up in this, because this has to do with tertiary and education, but we could talk about that just now. So this is what he had to say. Campus in a state of decay. Why is this opening? Probably start getting it in opening. So I said, Munira said he felt extremely angry. The People's National Movement government had not opened the campus, and the state-of-the-art facilities, which had never been used, will now run down. Ain't that something? No, it's not about tit for tat, no, but it's just ironic that he's extremely angry. So we wasn't to be angry when all they left the Brian Lara Stadium in Tortura down there to waste away. And when the PNM come in, they had to finish it, and all they was saying all kind of things. All they does live down there. We wasn't to be angry when all they leave the president house, so all the roof collapse, everything right there, and was paying for the president to stay somewhere else. We wasn't to be angry when all they ain't do nothing with the Red House and just left it right there, and the PNM government to come and see about that. We want to be angry with the Beaton wastewater project that Mahmoud get how much money for and never millions and millions and never finish. We need to be angry with the Point 14 highway with OAS, and OAS getting back the $1 billion, and this government, PNM government, came here to fight to get back the $1 billion, and we could drive nice going down that highway now. We ain't supposed to be vexed with the crap interchange and all the money spent and with it fall apart and all that. So it's very convenient for our goodly, honorable minister to be feeling angry because he's saying that the UE campus was left in a state of decay. Oh, okay. Let me continue this. I am seeing here, and I'm wondering whether or not this has to do with validating the fact it has so much new ministry and so much ministers and so much this and that. I don't know, I'm just asking. Because all who they bring in before the election to talk, to drag down PNM and whatever. No, they have to give them something, in my opinion. So I'm seeing here, cross appointments. Tangku now junior minister in planning as well as, so what's saying? So finance minister Devendranath Tangku and planning minister Kennedy Suraj Singh both have received cross appointments as junior ministers in each other ministries, in what the government said is an effort to strengthen economic coordination. That is what you call it. Okay. According to the Trinidad and Tobago Gazette, Tangku was appointed minister in the Ministry of Planning, Economic Affairs and Department with effect from May 15, while Suraj Singh was named minister in the Ministry of Finance effective May 13. Both men retained their substantive ministerial portfolio. Tangku is the substantive minister of finance and Suraj Singh is the substantive minister of planning. So I say describe the move as clever. Yeah, you must find it clever. and part of the Prime Minister's push for greater collaboration across key ministries. And I tell you, this nothing will happen still. Because the intent and the mind will cloud or the judgment for what is the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. That is my opinion. The Prime Minister felt that both myself and Minister Tanku and the Minister of Trade had to work closely together, he said, as we seek to reshape the diversification portfolio and general work in the economy. So everybody cross can come here, cross there and wherever. Because in their mind, that is to foster better collaboration. I am seeing that the goodly Minister of Finance, after they say all kind of thing about the PNM giving amnesty for tax and all that, he doing the same damn thing. So 3 years ago, CNC, well, Guardian, the Minister of Finance, Deportation, Tanku, has announced the extension of the tax and national insurance amnesty to August the 2nd, 2025. Ain't that something? The minister, I read the name already, blah, blah, blah. The initiative originally introduced under the Finance Act 2024. You hear which act? Was in office 2024 and effective from October the 1st to December the 31st, 2024, is intended to promote relief on penalties and interest, a wide range of taxes and national insurance contribution, legal notices numbers 211 through 215 of 2025, formalized extension. The tax amnesty applies to penalties and interest accrued up to the income year ending December 31st, 2023, and includes numerous tax categories such as individual income tax, corporation tax, value-added tax, petroleum profit tax, supplemental petroleum tax, unemployment levy, pay as you earn, withholding tax, hotel accommodation tax, insurance premium tax, health surcharge, stamp duty, gaming amusement tax, club gaming tax, tax on financial services, business levy, green fund levy. The National Insurance Amnesty, meanwhile, covers all interest and penalties on contribution outstanding prior to October 1st, 2024. It is applicable only to employees registered with the National Insurance Board before that date. However, the extension has not been without criticism from some on social media. In a media release dated January 31st, 2025, Minister Tanku, then opposition, criticized the previous Minister of Finance, Ember, asserting that such extensions undermines the integrity of the taxation system by facilitating tax evaders and setting a wrong precedent. He described the measure as an open insult to civic-minded persons and businesses who have diligently abided by the law and questioned the government's willingness to pursue legal action against defaulters. Minister Tanku had further, that when he was opposition, further challenged the previous administration to disclose how much tax revenue remains uncollected and to provide transparency regarding delinquent businesses benefiting from the amnesty. The minister now reminds taxpayers and employers that if outstanding amounts are not paid during the amnesty period, all waived penalties and interest will be reinstated and become fully payable, as the amnesty has never been granted. So you see how it is. But yet not a word from the opposition, the present opposition leader. Imagine the present Minister of Finance, the Deportation Tanku, when he was opposition just last year, and the PNM Minister of Finance, Ember, would have given amnesty to people with tax, income tax, and what is the next tax? Insurance amnesty, and tax and national insurance amnesty. This is what Tanku had to say back then, but today he extended the same thing. And not a word from the opposition leader to come out and talk about it, because this is in the interest, not PNM people, but Trinidad and Tobago. Because this is what he said. Just this year, you know, in a media release dated January 31st, 2025, Minister Tanku, then opposition, so let me read it again, and leave out the minister. In January 31st, 2025, Tanku criticized previous Minister of Finance Comembert, asserting that such extensions undermine the integrity of the taxation system by facilitating tax evaders and setting a wrong precedent. He described the measure as an open insult to civic-minded persons and businesses who have diligently abided by the law, and questioned the government's willingness to pursue legal action against defaulters. Tanku had further challenged the previous administration to disclose how much tax revenue remains uncollected and to provide transparency regarding delinquent businesses benefiting from the amnesty. You hear that? But maybe, where is it there today? January, let me count on my fingers, January, February, March, April, May. 4 months later, he's not the Minister of Finance. He is given extension of the tax and national insurance amnesty until August the 2nd. So all of a sudden, it's not undermining the collection of tax, and it's not unfair to people who just pay the tax on time. And that's why I tell you, nothing them do will be in the interest of Trinidad, because you know why? They just change the mode as they go along. If it was bad under Comembert and you complain, you should never continue to do what you say was bad under Comembert. Oh, you give me a... Look, let me continue, yes. Let me continue. So I see that while the Minister of Defense, I think it is all caught up with World Boss Vibes Cartel. I'm not sure what, I can't remember what Vibes Cartel government name is, but everybody knows Vibes Cartel. While he has been caught up with Vibes Cartel, and not wanting Vibes Cartel to go to no school to talk and thing, and he was at pains to let us know the legal part of Vibes Cartel and his issues he having. I thought it was inappropriate, because it's like, isn't our Honorable Minister of Defense, isn't he by trade a very successful criminal lawyer, SC? So to go into a case like that and talk about it like that, to me, it's like a doctor who is talking about publicly about somebody's medical history because they have an idea what it is, so they're telling everybody. I think that is unethical to me. But who is me? Me and SC. So while he's busy all up with Vibes Cartel and World Boss, and you know him go here, there, and everywhere, and wherever, the United States has deported 21 of our citizens back here. And it is saying here, out of that 21, 3 are sex offenders, 1 convicted murderer, a convicted human trafficker, and 4 persons who committed immigration violations amongst the 21 Trinidadian nationals who are being deported from the United States on Friday. This Friday, the others were guilty of a host of miscellaneous offenses. Defense Minister Wayne Serge detailed the major offenses committed by the deportees during an interview with Guardian Media at his Temple Court Port of Spain office yesterday. Asked if the sex offenders highlighted by the U.S. authorities will need to register upon their arrival, Serge admitted that the government will have to make an adjustment to existing laws to deal with that issue. I'm trying to understand what is the existing law, but we don't have a law where sex offenders goes on a registry. I just asking. So now we have 21 coming back. and he will have more coming. Out of them is sex offenders, and they have nothing in place. And convicted murderers. So will they take them convicted murderers and put them in jail? Or will those convicted murderers be able to run up the court steps with a lawyer and get bail? I just ask, because the government that our goodly Minister of Defense in now, we in search SC, Jaiwanti and Anna Ramlogan, the UNC lawyers cannot say them, she lawyers, they bright like bulb. They went to the Privy Council and had a law that is 150 something years old in the Commonwealth turnover when no murderers could get bail. So if these convicted murderers come here, will they be able to take a lawyer? I just ask, me a bright so, and get bail? Or will they take them, because if there's convicted murderers, I don't know if murderers just get bail in America. I don't know if they serve the time, and or I don't know, we don't know. So is it going to take them and put them in maximum security, or is it they already serve the time in America and they get released? I don't know. But in my opinion, or they would have known that 21 getting deported, because not now we hearing that Trump deporting everybody. So all the time I take up on World Boss, was you not to be looking into things to treated matters like that? Well, I did hear Vision on a Mission, they will be taking them in. So again, everything is just, but let me study World Boss. May God bless this nation, yes. We continue. I'm also seeing that this gentleman, he's some kind of security expert. Let me see if I find him here. Hira. I think it's Gavin Hira. You can get bail for murder in the USA. No, but I want to know, Nadia, not if they could get bail. They say a convicted murderer. So is it he served his time, or she served the time already in jail in America, and then they get released now? That's what I'm asking. Not about getting the bail. I'm asking whether or not because a convicted murderer. So is it that the person served the time in jail in America, and as they got released now, they ship them back? That's what I'm asking. I don't know myself. Somebody who have more knowledge will guide me. So Hira, TNT not fully equipped to deal with deportees, Lord Father. Look the man here. Who's saying that? Regional Security Consultant Gavin Hira says there is an urgent need for a coordinated Homeland Security strategy on how to address concerns of deportees from the U.S. Hira comments came as the Homeland Security Ministry last Saturday issued a press release stating that 21 nationals are due to be deported back to Trinidad and Tobago this Friday. The returning individuals, 17 men and 4 women, are currently in U.S. immigration custody. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, requested a single charter flight to Port of Spain as an efficient means to repatriate the group. This is the second batch of deportees after 11 were deported on March 20th. Hira said, at present, our existing systems are not equipped to adequately address the full spectrum of issues surrounding these returns, which go far beyond airport interviews or basic immigration processing. A coordinated multi-agency approach, one that includes immigration, national security, health, social services, police, intelligence, and international liaison is imperative. Hira spoke with Guardian Media as Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Defense Minister Wade Sturge met with the executive of the Vision on Mission to address the deportation issue. Speaking with Guardian Media following the meeting, CEO of Vision on a Mission, Giselle Chance, said her organization had a capacity for 10 deportees, with discussions on alternative accommodation being raised in the meeting. She encouraged the public to give the deportees a chance. highlighting the concerns of some about increased crime because of them. We want persons to lend support, especially family support. Also, understand that these persons are coming back and discrimination is a major issue because of the crime situation. Please give them a chance in the first instance to be able to successfully reintegrate back into society. Also, responsibilities on citizens to ensure that if you know you have a relative that's returning, that's involved in crime, you have a responsibility to also make the necessary reports to the TTPS and also to ensure that you do not become involved in aiding and abetting and continuing their criminal activities. We want to encourage you to encourage them to reach out to Vision on a Mission. While they are yet to determine who will need assistance on Vision on a Mission, the executives say they are aware of who is being deported, but did not have a list of the offenses committed by deportees, Lord Father. He rests that this deportation exercise can provide the country with an opportunity to develop a model for managing such a complex challenge. He added that many nations faltered by adopting reactive, disjointed, and under-resourced responses to similar situations. Failure to act decisively could result in increased crime, social instability, and reputational risk. As a regional security expert, I urge the Ministry of National Security, in collaboration with all relevant stakeholders, to act swiftly in establishing the mechanism required to manage these repatriation responsibly and strategically, he warned. Sir Shogar Media that there will be another meeting today with the Vision on Mission Executive and will include other stakeholders, including Alexander, Chief of Defense Staff, Air Vice Marshal Darrell Daniel, Minister of the People, Social Development and Family Services, Vandana Mohit, and high-ranking police officials. People's in a nutshell, not a shell and not a shelf. In a nutshell, we are not in place. We heard Ms. Chan say, Vision on Mission only have place for 10 people. It's 21 coming back. More will be coming back. And some did come from before. So with the others who come from before, what monitoring there is in that? And Vision on Mission said they didn't even have known what the crimes these people committed. But they had meetings with the Minister of Defense, all that. So he didn't provide. May God bless our nation. All they don't want a responsible government in place. All they wanted the code is yellow. So, this ain't even funny. I can't even cry. It is what it is. So I'm senior also. But we all up in Vibes Cartel. Vibes Cartel going all over the world and singing. And making money. Hey, all you. Let me get this thing quick for you and read this. I ain't even go there. I'm trying to find this thing. What do you think going? Well, give me a minute to scroll in here. 1 minute to see it. Good. Right. Just now, before they start, I want to say something. I think it was yesterday. I saw the Honorable Minister, Dr. Rudal Munilal, speaking. A couple of things. It's either he didn't have enough water to drink, because sometimes when I don't have enough water to drink, I have to be wiping here too. I want the minister to understand that he's not like me. Me is a little Wappy that collecting on the two sides of the mouth. All you know where's Wappy? Well, that's a long time name we call to Ting and whatever, with the spit tinging up on the two sides of the mouth there. So you're seeing that in two sides of the mouth. So I don't know if he didn't drink enough water or if he's not aware. It was not a good look. And sometimes some are fine. Dr. Munila looking, he does be really dapper, and he still, I think yesterday here, something looked right to me looking under stress. I'm wondering now whether the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industry stressing him out, because I don't know that to be his specialty. I would think, housing, because he was real good there. That was the man, housing or whatever. Energy. I never hear him debate on energy in the parliament. I know the shadow minister was ugly, David Lee. So I don't know if this new ministry is stressing him now, because this is an active ministry. This ministry is critical to the finances of this country. This is it here. He looking stressed. But again, oh God, be wappy at the side of the mouth. I think, if I was doing the interview, I would have stopped it from me. I said, Minister, listen, you want a sip of water? You have a tissue, something to just wipe the two sides of the mouth. You have some lip gloss, something, lip balm or something, because it's looking good. I don't know about all it. I see it. And I can't unsee it. So, why these things are opening? So, it's actually the other part in Papa. It says, Energy Minister Dr. Uda Mulila says a team will be set up very soon to access the state of the former refinery. So, they are not in place. Them just talking things just forward. So they're now going to set up something to go and check the refinery. I think when they're moving that, they get a whole health and safety clearance first, because if the refinery was there down for a while, I don't think it's safe just people just going just so, again, just like with the flood. He's not a first responder, but I don't think it is wise for the goodly minister to go to tour nothing. It's supposed to have some expert in refinery that rests down long time and something, so they will go first to make sure, because you don't want when you're walking on and the weight of people and next thing you hear Ting, Kilkati and Kank. I don't know, I just saying, we wouldn't like that to happen. So I don't understand. Excuse me. I hope in the team that the team have specialists in those areas. So he's going to go and look it over and all that kind of background. Then I see an OWTU saying something like something to the effect that them ain't start hiring nobody for the refinery and something. So we have some conversation going on that they start to hire people. I don't know. But they have people excited, because some people happy, well, they get the refinery, blah, 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 blah. People go get back to work and everything will be running nice. Me, I am saying the reality of that, that is fantasy thing. That is something like nothing grounded in real reality, Papa. That's something like some fantasy thing, because the kind of money you have to take to get that refinery up, and then no money to buy crude oil outside of the market and then bring it back here. You have to get gas to heat up. Them, I say pot is not pot, but it's some kind of big thing. You have to get gas, because the gas will make the fire, and you have the crude oil in that, and that thing cooking or boiling, whatever. I don't know the right term, the crude oil. That lighting there, it has to get gas. Gas what we don't have. And we need gas for electricity. And we need gas for the downstreamers and all kind of bacchanal. So where are they going to get gas from to have a refinery? Because one thing, you get it up and running, you buy the crude oil, we're going to just rest it down there and store it. In order for you to get all the byproducts from it and all them kind of thing, it had to cook, it had to boil, it had to be boiling, and you need real gas to hot up them damn thing. I say it as simple as I can. So I don't know. Anyhow, I don't know if all that while the minister looking, he ain't look usual dapper self, man. He look like that stress boy. Like that stress getting to him. So my MP, who was the Minister of Energy, and under his tenure, people in this country got to learn about the energy sector. He make it exciting. You're all up in it, I started inquire, look, Ting, we started talk about the thing. So you start to get an idea of the energy sector. You never used to have the idea. You used to just know them just getting crude oil and something and some petrochemical downstreamers, and here we're going on, we're making money. That is all we was interested in. But under the leadership of Minister Stuart Young at the time, energy, you get all up in it, right? So as soon as these fellas and them come and drop all kind of trumpet talk about the energy sector, what kind of thing, we're looking to see where Stuart Young SC had to say. Because he was the man there, he is the man the whole world know, you know. He is the man who, when they had an international negotiators conference, they called he to come and he was the keynote speaker, you know. Negotiators from all over the world, you know. So that is the man, everybody know. So we want to hear where if Honorable Minister Mulal talk about something in the energy sector, we want to hear with Stuart Young to say. Because it's based on what you say, no, we go say, well, yeah, what Mulal or whoever saying is true. All the time, if I lie. It's about credibility, you know. And Stuart Young SC never led me astray when he was the Minister in Energy with these issues. He can't be faulted, not even the UNC can fault what he said, right? So he responded to something that the Minister of Energy, Dr. Rudra Mulal, said. He said here, Minister of Energy, Rudra Mulal, is quoted in today's newspaper as saying that I, meaning Stuart Young, that I am wrong and that a pipeline to get gas from Suriname and Guyana to Trinidad and Tobago does not have to cross through Venezuela's territorial waters. He said that there is an option to run a pipeline outside of Venezuela's water. Right. So let me put him a little 2 cents in it because I tell you, I started to find out and ting. So apparently, Minister of Energy at the time, Stuart Richard Young SC, would have said, if there's any gas to monetize, I'm putting it my way, from like Suriname and them thing, the pipeline had to pass through somewhere in Venezuela water. Now, like Dr. Rudra Mulal, whose specialty to me is not in litigation with gas and oil and negotiation, nothing, so saying that it don't have to pass through there. It don't have to pass through Venezuela water, it can pass somewhere else. So I am thinking, okay, there would have been a feasibility study done to pass this pipeline through Venezuela water to Suriname. A cost would have been attached to that. So if now Dr. Mulal is saying it don't have to pass through Venezuela water, where them pipe passing? And even if you find a route for the pipe to pass, who will and pay for that? Because that is more pipe, that is more deep water, that is more work, that is more this, that is a whole set of bacchanal there again. So, I made an analogy, a friend of mine was talking, I tell you, look, listen, if to get gas from where you live in, the pipe passing through your neighbor who you don't talk to yard to go to the place where the gas is. You have to have some kind of conversation with your neighbor. You want them to talk because whether or not there's some offer of some remuneration, whatever. But if the neighbor say, you can't pass that pipe through here, it means to say you have to find an alternative route now. You ain't gonna have money for that because you might have to go across by our next place, so then two and so on. So the whole thing to me when I think about it is, this is something feasible. Because first of all, we don't even know how much Suriname have in gas to be able to monetize, to be able to make a profit and find alternative route other than the route that was the normal place to pass, right? So that might think. So I'll continue. The feasibility of any pipeline project depends on a number of factors. That is Stuart Young SC saying that. It has to be cost effective, and the cost of landing gas in Trinidad and Tobago has to be at a price that the local market will buy it at. We did feasibility studies a couple of years ago, and the cost of building a pipeline from Suriname, assuming that there's sufficient gas to export, which there was none as yet, and passing it around Venezuela territorial waters would not make any commercial sense. In other words, it will be way too expensive to build a pipeline from Suriname that does not run through Venezuela water, adding to the cost of landing the gas in Trinidad and Tobago, and no one will be able to afford the gas. It simply is not commercially feasible. It is critical that the population of Trinidad and Tobago not be misled by the government, this present government, with respect to the future of our energy sector. Misleading the population in this area is not an option, as the investors are global companies who closely monitor government's utterances. It is concerning that so far, every single initiative suggested by the government to secure future gas supply is simply not feasible at this time or even in the medium term. It's medium term. It says yours in continued service, Stuart Richard Young, SC and MP, May 21st, 2025. I am more inclined to believe my member of parliament, not because he's my member of parliament, but because he's an expert in that area and he was there doing the work and he would have had success doing the work. The whole world they know he by first name, all in them place in Hague. And you could see Dr. Mulila going in Hague and then boardroom in Texas and Houston and all that. They will ask him, in my opinion, where's Stuart? Who are you from Trinidad? Where's Stuart? You bring Stuart? I just say, I'm inclined to believe my member of parliament. So I say, and again, probably that is why, to me, I find Dr. Mulila looking stressed out. Tell you what he guardian on the two sides of him out. Let me continue. So, Mr. Ashton Ford, who was the General Secretary of the People's National Movement, so he understands the internal workings of the People's National Movement political party, and he's a long-standing member also of the People's National Movement. And I think he should be afforded the respect when he speaks about the internal mechanisms and processes and regulations of the People's National Movement, because he would have been there doing the work, right? So I'm seeing here Ashton and Nayan clash over PNM's convention. I hope this opening not just now, right? May 2025. CNC3 will now be guardian. The PNM's upcoming special convention has ignited a sharp public exchange between former General Secretary Ashton Ford and current party chairman Dr. Nayan Gasbidali over the role party groups in the internal election process. In a letter to the editor, Ford alleged, for the first time in the history of the People's National Movement, the party will host a convention without the participation of its party groups. Citing the party's constitution, he highlighted clause 5 of the Article 9, which states, each party group shall elect, whenever a special convention is summoned, a delegate to represent it at special convention. He found it baffling that the General Council would proceed without first instructing party groups to elect the officers. Gasbidali responded in an official media release, dismissing Ford's claim as not only incorrect, but ignoring the established sequence of democratic processes. The allegation that party groups are being left out of the internal election process is clearly without merit. Really? She explained that all 41 constituencies held their party's group elections, annual general meeting, and conference in 2024. Although the November 2024 convention was cancelled, she said a special convention was approved by the General Council for June 29, 2025, with internal election occurring a week earlier in June 22nd via a one-man, one-vote system. Ford has repeatedly questioned the timing of the decision, arguing that extending the process by just 3 months would have allowed full party group participation. The refusal to extend the timeline suggests that the convention is being rushed to engineer a predetermined outcome he won. Comparing the current situation to what he called the selection of the opposition leader, which he claims was done with only 7 of the 13 elected MPs. Gaspidal insisted every one of the party group members has the right to vote in the PNM internal election. She further argued that the groundwork for participation had already been completed in 2024 and that the upcoming convention falls within the 2024-25 period. But Ford raised deeper concerns about the integrity of the internal processes, referencing the controversial election of the party chairman and vice chairman, separated only by 2 votes amidst claim that 2 ineligible members voted. He pointed to what he described as a pattern of top-down maneuvers that have left many party members feeling alienated. Rebuilding must be inclusive, Ford urged. Party members should not be sidelined or selectively engaged. Gaspidal, meanwhile, has said the PNM will continue to operate with the highest democratic principles as it focuses on the task at hand, really. So, no matter what nobody say, this current executive of the PNM, they are determined to have internal election for the positions of political leader, I think chairman, the hierarchy part of the executive, or the whole executive, whatever. They are determined to do it. There was some conversation, I don't know how true, that the opposition leader feels, I don't know how true, that when she becomes the political leader, with the opposition leader, then she'll be able to talk and say, well, in my opinion, that is total rubbish, in my opinion. Because the political party, the political leader of the PNM has nothing to do with the politics at Trinidad and Tobago when in parliament. That's the opposition leader. So whether or not she's the political leader of the PNM, to me, is irrelevant when it comes to treating with the parliament. The issue is because the opposition leader is in the constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, that position, and how you select somebody. The political leader of the PNM is not a part of the constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a part of the PNM constitution. And the constitution of Trinidad and Tobago trumps any other constitution. So the conversation, it is alleged that when you become political leader, well, then you will talk wherever it is. Precedent had been set when Dr. Rowley remained the political leader and Stuart Young became the prime minister at the time. A precedent had been set there. So what will be the difference if there's an opposition leader in parliament treating with national issues of Trinidad and Tobago, and a political leader at the PNM treating with party issues? I'm just asking. But as I say, they're determined to have their internal elections. And they're the people what they want. I put on my post stiff-necked fools. The term stiff-necked refers to people who are stubborn, unwilling to change their ways, and resistant to new ideas or teachings. These individuals are depicted as being closed-minded and refusing to listen or learn despite their flawed perspectives. That is general information. But if you're a herd dog, I'm sure you're going to holler. right? Also, well, I've seen this, and I like these little stuff because I tell you all I love drama, literature, and all that. It says here, in order to tackle foolish people, one should employ wisdom and not logic, because logic don't work on them at all. A fool makes a simple thing a horrible one, while a wise man makes a most difficult job or things simpler. They tanked, yeah. So you remember that again. A fool makes a simple thing a horrible one, while a wise man makes a most difficult job or thing simpler. Huh? And how you treated fools, you have to use wisdom. Logic will not work on them. So let me continue. I want to read quickly because we're waxing warm, because these things has come back, These things that have relevance. That is why we have history to fall back on, because those who fail to know the history and what happened in history, a mistake made in history, will be doomed to repeat it again if they don't understand history and they don't know the history. So I was looking at the story of King Saul, and it illustrates consequences of pride, disobedience, and fear. You remember when the people of Israel was it? I ain't no church go and me no Bible thumper, no disrespect to nobody, but I know truth. It wasn't the people of Israel that wanted their own king. They didn't want to wait on God for a king. They wanted their own king. They want a king now because they want to be like Tom, Dick, Harry, this one. I put it my way. They want a king. Was it Samuel went? Samuel said, well, I can't pick no king. That's how it is done. I had to speak to the Most High. He went to the Most High tell them, the Most High said, listen, if they want the king, queen, king, this is what will happen, this will happen, this will have to happen, this will have to happen, this will happen. And he said, go and tell them for me. Samuel went back and he told them, they said, I don't care. We want a king. And he gave them a king. Saul was the king. So I was looking at the moral and the story of Saul. He said the story of Saul illustrates the consequences of pride, disobedience, and fear, and emphasizes the importance of humility and trust in God's guidance. Saul's initial success and God's choice of him as king are contrasted with his later decline, highlighting the detrimental impact of failing to remain obedient and humble. Ultimately, the story serves as a cautionary tale, warning against the dangers of self-exaltation and self-deception, and the importance of seeking God's will in all aspects of life. Pride and self-exaltation. Saul's pride led him to disobey God's command and take action he was not authorized to take, leading to a decline in his relationship with God and ultimately his kingdom. Saul's disobedience, particularly his failure to completely destroy the Amalekites, demonstrated his lack of respect for God's instruction and his preference for personal desire over God's will. Saul's fear, which manifested in insecurity and emotional outbursts, led him to make unwise decisions and further distance him from the grace of God. The story contrasts Saul's pride with David's humility and obedience, highlighting the value of a heart that is receptive to God's guidance and willing to submit to his authority. Saul's lack of trust in God's faithfulness led him to seek counsel from the spirit world, demonstrating his abandonment of God and his reliance on other sources of authority. In essence, the story of King Saul serves as a reminder that true leadership and success in life are not found in power or self-reliance, but in humility, obedience, and unwavering faith in God. I thought it was just important to read that. Who get vexed, get vexed. I want to read this also. This is a comment, I see it was taken from somebody, a Facebook page by somebody called Cassie Joe. This is what it says, and it's concerning the PNM's internal election or internal position of political leader. This Cassie Joe says, hear me out. After April 28th, I spent a number of weeks reading all those comments coming from the UNC camp about why they believe Penny was the right person for the job. They mentioned she's a long-standing member, more deserving, Rowley did her wrong, etc., etc. The conclusion I arrive at after reading all these comments, strategy and division. That is what the UNC is doing right now. We really believe that these UNC supporters genuinely want what is best for the PNM when it comes to governance. Penelope is well respected across the floor, but for a UNC, she is less politically threatening and might be easier to campaign against compared to someone like Stuart Young. To them, that is the UNC, Penny has some fight in her, but not so much to dramatically shift voters, which in the end will give the UNC a better chance at a future general election. The UNC supporters know that Stuart is an aggressive debater. He's quick on his feet and defends sharply. You feel the UNC want to work hard in this government? They're so glad Penny is the opposition leader. So for the UNC, Penny is safe, while Stuart is a threat. Those are not my words. Let me continue. I'm seeing somebody I have the greatest respect for in Labour, Mr. Jennifer Baptiste Primus. And somebody say, oh, you appear to be a fan of hers. And when it comes to Labour, what you would have done for the PSA, of course I am. I'm not ashamed or afraid to say that. I have utmost respect for Mr. Jennifer Baptiste Primus and what you would have done to the PSA, where it was when she became the president and where when she left, the PSA was. Of course, I have respect for her. Was she perfect like nobody else? Of course. Like anybody else? Of course not. But when it comes to her politics, because she's not in Labour no more, she's not the president of no union no more, she's in politics now. I do not like her politics. And I could say that without fear or favor. If she chooses to be upset with what I'm saying, I can't do anything about that. But my respect for her for Labour continues. When it comes to politics, I don't subscribe to her politics. Because I would have felt Mrs. Baptiste Primus and one named LaHunt or whatever would have been the architects, in my opinion, of bringing all PNM laundry, clean, dirty, whatever, in the public space. And when they started, all this thing is seen happen here now is a result of that. Things were brought out in the open, we were supposed to bring out. We were supposed to be settled in General Council. It is Saturday. It was settled all outside on social media. I attribute that to her and Mr. Robert Lee Hunt. That is my opinion. So 21 hours ago in the garden, he said, Baptiste Primus not seeking any post in PNM internal election. And I don't know why that is a story. Because Mrs. Baptiste Primus is not in Parliament or Senate or anything like that. So I don't understand why it was needed to have a whole story about that. People's National Movement Labour Relations Officer, Mr. Jennifer Baptiste Primus, has taken a dig at former Prime Minister and Party Leader Dr. Keith Rowley, while announcing that she will not be contesting the post in the party's upcoming executive election. And I just want to ask her, because it behooves me about that. Because I would have heard Mrs. Baptiste Primus speak about it when she left PSA and she entered into politics. She went in to the PNM when Dr. Rowley was opposition leader. Dr. Rowley asked several people to work with him to help rebuild the People's National Movement, and they refused. They doesn't like to talk about that. Ms. Baptiste Primus would have joined with him because she said, paraphrasing, that he wanted to do away with the delegate vote and bring in one man, one vote. And he relied on her as a Labour Relations Officer to bring that to fruition. And she said, I think she would have said something to the effect that she admired him for that, for taking them to where everybody have a voice to speak. Excuse me. And we have also made her senator because she didn't go up for no election. And subsequent to that, Minister of Labour. And then she was a Minister of Labour, and then she was a senator again. So I don't know where I don't know if it's hate or dislike or whatever between her and Dr. Rowley. I don't understand it. I don't know what has happened in between that. What I know there, what I just say, I don't know what happened in between that. But I find it to be very curious that there seemed to be some type of harsh criticism about Dr. Rowley. I don't know why. So let me continue. But his primers did so following last Friday's announcement of the June 29th election convention and voting, which will be done for executive posts on June 22nd. This was agreed to by PNM General Council, and all 16 posts, including political leader, will be open for contest. So it's all posts, all. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles has said she will seek the leader's post. Nomination day for submission of candidates is June the 2nd. Yesterday, Baptiste Primus was asked by Guardian Media if she might be on Beckles' slate or what post she would seek in the executive election, but she said she would not be contesting any post. I will not be offering myself for the position of Labor Relations Officer for the party for the upcoming internal election. Since October 2014, when the General Council scheduled the internal elections and annual convention for November 2024, I took the decision not to offer myself for re-election following discussions with my supportive husband. However, matters were taken out of my hands when our former political leader, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, sheltered behind the leadership of the party, cancelled our internal elections, an annual convention, an unprecedented and unconstitutional action. I don't know everything about the PNM Constitution. So here we're going to ask you now, right? If the General Council, based on what Ms. Baptiste Primus is saying, because he's inside the General Council, if the General Council, who are made up of members from party groups and whatever, go to General Council and their job is to do X, Y, Z, and they allow, based on what people say, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, one person to be them into changing this and changing that, and they know it's unconstitutional, I do blame Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Listen to what I'm saying again. I didn't say he do anything, I'm just saying. If there's a General Council, there are different arms of the People's National Movement that make up of several people, and they allow one person to do something that is unconstitutional and get away with it. I can't blame that one person. It's just like the PSA. The General Council, the PSA don't do the job at all. So Leroy Baptiste, Felicia, and all of them, the executive of the PSA, who has to be guided by the General Council, because the General Council, the PSA, is the financial body, the second highest body by the conference and delegate, the supreme body. General Council, the financial body, second highest, and the executive. The executive is mandated to follow whatever the General Council say. But in the PSA, the executive take over all. And the executive will do what the hell they want, and General Council that just go along and say nothing. Me can't blame them. I can't blame the executive now. I have to blame the General Council for not doing the work, because they're allowing these things to happen. So let me step back to the PNM now. Me know not much about PNM and the convention and constitution. I'm saying, if this picture, the painting, that Dr. Rowley did something unconstitutional and do this and do that, and a whole General Council sit down there. Sit down there and have the PNM Constitution, and knowing according to them he doing something unconstitutional, and they allow one man to do it. How do you ask you blaming Dr. Rowley for that now? I just asking a question, you know. Me ain't saying right, wrong, and different, asking a question. If people follow on the walk and you hear words talking about unconstitutional, and nobody do nothing, the General Council ain't do nothing, why it is only blaming Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley? But his Primus, a PNM member since 2010, said, notwithstanding, I feel very proud and honored to have secured the membership confidence for the past 14 years as a party labor relation officer, and I sincerely thank them for the confidence they repose in me. The outgoing executive members has shown full support behind Penelope Beckles. And why are we surprised? I ask him again, just as I read the report there, because I have my own opinion. Is it because they feel that Mrs. Beckles, no fault of hers, she nice and she did a long time with her, that she's somebody that could walk over? Well, yeah, because I'm seeing certain people, I say again, I'm watching from the outside, and the whole thing going, it looking like some people, because they want to talk about Dr. Rowley. You see what I funny? They want to talk about Dr. Rowley and how he does it. What I'm doing now? It's not the same thing they were accusing Dr. Rowley of doing that they want to do now. Asking a question because me and say he do that. I'm not in general counsel. Asking a question based on the things I reading. So what different are they doing in the party now? Than what all they said Dr. Rowley they do one man. Now it's like a whole group of all they know. What different are they doing? Asking a question. I pray God Richard's blessings and guidance and honorable opposition leader Penelope Beckles. May God further favor her with the office of political leader and members of her team as they embark on the new journey of rebuilding, reimaging, reconnecting, respecting, and rebanding our beloved party. Great is the PNM and it shall prevail. During the General Council meeting on October 11, 2024, British Primus spoke out against Rowley's decision to cancel the PNM 51st Convention and internal polls, initially scheduled for November 17, 2024. At the meeting, Rowley had received support for a decision. Here again, at that meeting, Rowley received support for a decision to ratify the events of a later date. Out of 140 attendees, 70 voted for the ratification, 5 abstained. But his Primus voted against it. She said that was the first time she had gone against a position by Rowley, but she had taken issue with his failure to follow the democratic process of the PNM. I'm trying to understand what Ms. Baptiste Primus talking about. How could it be undemocratic and the General Council agree? Then it's not Dr. Rowley's fault. It's the General Council fault. Because the words used in here, failure to follow the democratic process, undemocratic, unconstitutional, and the General Council, not one person, vote for that. And I don't want to blame Dr. Rowley now. If all they didn't have the kahunas to stand up and say, this is wrong, and we thinking so, who are blaming for that? And I didn't say he do anything. I'm just saying based on what all they say. It don't make sense. It don't make sense to me. Because then now, what is happening in the PNM now? What happening there now? And they're talking about Dr. Who bring PNM business out in the open and on social media? Me? Who bring it out? They can settle the business inside General Council, whether they fight it out, cuss it out, whatever, and they stay inside it. Who bring it out? So they can vex with nobody. Who talking about it? This is healthy. This is the social media era. It's only a couple of weeks or whatever since the PNM lost, get a bad bruising from the UNC. So what's the problem? But the words people train around, you can't tell me a General Council sit down and all them words train around and the General Council didn't do nothing. Come now, man. Come now, man. What are they trying to fool? What are they trying to fool? I tell you, don't go vex, you know. Me have no position, so me a business. Nobody can call me to censor me with nothing. So I was reading something here. Misplaced hatred, also known as displaced anger or redirected aggression, occurs when someone directs their anger or hatred towards someone or something other than the actual source of their frustration. This can happen when an individual is unable or unwilling to express their negative emotions directly towards a person or situation that is causing them distress. Misplaced hatred can stem from various factors, including lack of coping mechanisms. Individuals with poor coping skills or impulse control may struggle to handle the emotion constructively, leading to the redirection of anger. There may be fear of retaliation, guilt, or social disapproval associated with expressing anger directly. Conditions like anxiety and depression can contribute to emotional dysregulation and displacement of anger. Grief can trigger intense emotion, and misplaced anger may be directed at those closest to the grieving individual. Trauma, they talk about trauma. Individuals who have experienced trauma may have difficulty regulating their emotions and may displace their anger onto others. So examples again, a person angry with their boss may take it out on their spouse or children. An individual who is grieving the loss of a loved one may lash out at their family members or friends, or someone who is feeling frustrated by a situation at work may displace their anger onto a co-worker who had nothing to do with it. And the impacts of these things and misplaced anger can have a negative impact on relationship, self-esteem, and overall well-being. It can also lead to conflict, misunderstandings, and further emotional distress. Right? And to speak about treatment for those things, right? We won't go into that right now. Again. Who vex? The vex. Yeah? Because when you're outside there, talk the truth. That's what anybody I talking about. Because anytime you ain't talking the truth, you go get people who go jam you, and then you can't get horrors, right? So as I was saying, somebody would have, well, all of us, social media, the conversation of PNM internal election is a hot one. People are talking, and of course, there are people who support Ms. Penelope Beckles, and there are people who support Stuart Young SC. That is natural, that is normal, nothing wrong with that. And for different reasons, people would support different people. So 3 days ago, they had up a picture, and it says that in Guardian, Penny is the only candidate for PNM political leadership, right? I know that the nomination, I think, is on Wednesday, Tuesday or something, so we'll see all who are contesting that position. But since she has contested, is contesting, and it's not the first time, Mrs. Beckles back in 2014 would have, without being a member of parliament and in the government, would have challenged the leadership of the political leader, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, at the internal elections. Right? So they're saying it's in something new. Same way Karen Ines Teixeira would have done it also. Because one man, one vote, and you're a member, you're entitled to, right? So this was in 2014. It says here, it was Trinidad Express, it says Penny's lament. I may not read the whole thing because I've got four minutes, but just to get it just. Penny recently wondered aloud, why is it that the People's National Movement could not have a clean party election? I too have been wondered whether, I have often wondered whether, on balance, the one person, one vote election was suitable for use in a small face-to-face society such as ours. The argument in favor of open election is that they enhance party democracy by breaking up entrenched patriarchal oligarchies where they exist. They also provide opportunities for the civic involvement of the general citizenry. At worst, they help to lubricate a circulation of elites. The case against them is that they could be disproportionately expensive, notwithstanding the fact that the electorate might be smaller and theoretically less costly to reach. The perception is that per capita cost may be more than it is in a general election. Another negative feature of these intramural elections is that the party members often find themselves denigrating persons with whom they have to work with on the morrow following the elections. As one candidate in a United National Congress internal election, Carlos John mourns, I thought this was going to be an exercise in democracy, but it has gone down a different road. The campaign has been characterized by obscenity, gutter politics, barbarity, and a lot of hanging of dirty linen in public. Yesterday I was their colleague, today I am their friend. The sharks smile with me in the day and stab me in the back by night. Gunda politics is one man, one vote election, did not sit well together. There has to be a better way to elect our leaders and make them accountable. We need to find a compromise formula that combines the democracy associated with open elections and the discipline of the closed delegate model. Penny laments suggests that Carlos may very well be right. So in this article 2014, Mrs. Beckles is against the one man, one vote. She prefers, from what I read in here, the delegate system. Problems inevitably arise if the election pits challenger against incumbents, especially if the latter feel that they are founders of the party or have traditional usurpatory rights. I ain't going to say it over, I say it already. Dissidents are advised to form their own party if they are unhappy with what obtains. Challengers thus have to be very careful about what they allege, accuse, or say, especially if there are allegations about corruption, inaptitude, mismanagement, abuse of some other improper behavior. The election may thus widen latent cracks in the organization and help to destabilize the party. Perhaps fatally, what does began as a little family cuss out or a bit of bois pelting may turn out to be a game changer and a source of grief or anger. We recall the way in which Pandey's reaction to dissidents whom he threatened to dispatch to a cemetery. Political. Dissidents were seen as the macarams, the slower ingrates. In May 18 election, it provides many examples of what has been asserted here. In PNM case, the challenger found herself, that is Penny Beckles Robinson, found herself at a disadvantage since the incumbent chose to run on his record and accuses her of being a non-performer, someone who has not left any visible footprint in the political landscape. Almost all of whom I have spoken about Penny political record agree that she is a charming person, a Miss Amity if you wish, but few, if any, believe that she has what it takes to lead the PNM or play the rough role that politics in Trinidad and Tobago now involves. It is perhaps worth noting that Mrs. Beckles currently has no status as a parliamentarian. She is not a member of either the House of Representatives or the Senate and cannot therefore be leader of the opposition in Parliament. Who will resign to give her a seat in Parliament? Patrick Manning. A controversial assertion that sours the debate is that Rowley is still a bit much too Menolin in his vein and would be not acceptable to an important mixed segment of Trinidad electorate. This assertion went viral when Fitzgerald Hines said that he had overheard some important businessmen and even party members repeating the comment. I too had heard such comments. Rowley himself made no comment on the matter, his silence leading some to say that he was playing the race card. It was said he was forcing people to vote for him, lest it be said that they subscribed to the view about Rowley's unsuitability. Jack Warner may have spoken for some when he warned Indians in an article in Sunshine to think twice before casting their vote for Rowley. Africans of brown color and lighter hue should be very wary of voting for Rowley, given his lack of condemnation of Hines' statement, which again sought to divide us as a people. Right? And it goes on. It goes on and on. So you see what Dr. Rowley had to deal with. I don't know if his not speaking about it had any motive or any motive, but those conversations should have never been had in the first place, right? But my concern is, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because I had an online conversation with somebody, and it's basically this. So it says here again, the May 18 election provides many examples of what is being asserted here. In PNM case, the challenger found herself at a disadvantage since the incumbent chose to run on his record and accuses her of being a non-performer, someone who has not left any visible footprint on the political landscape. Almost all who I have spoken to about Penny, that the person who write this article saying that almost everybody that he would have spoken to about Penny political career agree that she's a charming person, a Miss Amity, if you wish. But few, if any, believe that she has what it takes to lead the PNM or play the rough role that politics in Trinidad and Tobago now involves. It is perhaps worth noting that Mrs. Beckles, at that time, she currently had no parliamentarian status. The reason why I would have read that is because if I don't know Mrs. Beckles and her work ethics or what she has done. I just know her, and just as the article said, a nice person. Very nice, very charming. I hear that. Nothing wrong with that. But in our political system, unfortunately, would that take the PNM, especially now, PNM have 13 members in parliament. You have about 5 of them who are new in terms of, not that they won't learn, but they're new to the parliament. We have one person was there before, I think, Noriega, but he was not really one who presented and thing, whatever. So that was a 5. So you have MP Romain, MP Corey Marcel, MP Burchell, MP Hans de Vries, and you have MP Noriega. It's 13. So if those 5 remove, well, that's a remove in the sense that the experience in the parliament. How much you have? 5 and how much make 13? 9? Well, 7, 8, whatever, all the count. Out of them now, you have to get chief whip. It has some, there's conversation, it has one you can't control. There's conversation, it have a next one who talks so. And then a next one so, and a next one so. This person, everybody's saying, is this nice, long-standing member of the parliament, nice lady. Could that lady able to garner them troops together to hold as one and come as a united front against the UNC? Those are logical questions to ask, because anybody who is asking that, they're just playing the ass and trying to pacify a situation because they're afraid somebody will vex with them. Me ain't give a hoot. Who the hell vexed with me? Because me ain't lying on nobody. I asking relevant questions that other people out there asking. Because we want the PNM to succeed. We want the PNM to be ready for local government election. We want them to be ready for THA election. We want them to be ready for the next general election. You have to have a crossover. You have to get the youths. You have to sell the youths. So the youths want to be a part. You have to get that demographics in, the 18 to 35. You have to get them involved, Tell me if the opposition leader has that ability. I'm asking again simply because, as I started saying, I don't know much about her, I don't know much about her work, but everybody I ask, tell me what the honorable opposition leader would have done. Everybody coming back to Shini PNM long time, they treat she unfairly, and she's a nice lady. That's all I hearing. Tell me as a lawyer, she's success rate. Tell me when she was the minister in the several ministries she was in, what she did, tell me these things. Stop telling me about she's nice. It's not a popularity contest. I don't want to hear about she nice. Yes, she nice. That is good. That is her character. That is not professionalism. You don't be a boss and a leader because you're just nice. You have to transcend more than nice. And all you're hearing everywhere, she deserves it. She's a woman. She did a long time. They treat she good. She's a nice lady. She on the ground. She do the stick fight. She does cook. She does make bread. I hear that. And I love that. But does that transcend into leading the PNM into victory? The 13 people we're talking about, you know, and 5 of them in high experience in Parliament right now. So I want to know, to all this thing, and they want to have election and this. Okay, right. What is the opposition leader who wants to become the political leader to the PNM? What is she going to do to carry the PNM to the next level? All I hear people saying, she meeting the people in library and she talking to them and she talking to them in point 14. She was in point 14 and she was dance. Okay, I hear that. Stop telling me that now. Start to tell me what is the footprint she left in the ministries? What is she footprint in law? What is she footprint? What has she done? What? Nobody is telling me nothing. But you know what I'm seeing? All kind of articles written. And I'm being informed by these articles. I didn't hear nobody say she ever take anybody to court for these things they see. So what am I, who don't know, supposed to believe? Or they can vex at me because I have concern. I'm just an ordinary citizen. Excuse me, I'm just an ordinary citizen. Should I not be concerned? When the opposition UNC was there, he was concerned and we used to good go at them politically. Where's the front now? That because it's PNM and PNM is the party I support. And how it's looking, in my opinion, weak. Don't say nothing. I'm not in general council. Me no general council member. Me no conference member. Me can go there and tell them this, that, way. But I'm asking people, tell me something so that I know so I'll be able to talk about it. And so nobody tell me nothing. Only tell me about nice. And she's a nice lady and a nice. Oh God, don't stop telling me that now, man. Don't play me for no instance, man. Or they have all kind of thing to describe Dr. Rowley. All kind of thing to describe Mr. Manning. God rest his soul. Anna Robinson, Pandy, George Chambers, Dr. Eric Eustace William, Short Young, SC. And just one thing, or they tell me over and over the opposition leader, she's a nice lady. And she's been paying them a long time. And they treat she unfairly. So everybody treat Mrs. Beckles unfairly. Well, she's the most unlucky person I know of. So Mr. Manning treats you unfairly. Dr. Rowley treats you unfairly. Selwyn Ryan and his articles treat you unfairly. The article I just read treats you unfairly. They are going to read the next one here now. Was in the Express. By Anita Gums. This was 2013. So Anita treats you unfairly. So everybody treats him as Beckles unfairly. It's only she supporters alone who find she just nice and she should run things. Really? In 2025? No, I'm here business who go to tell her, and if she's looking at her, I have nothing against Miss Beckles. As I said, yes, I admit she's a nice lady. I like to see when she think the stick fight and carrots. So I say, hey, look, Papa, when she baking the thing on the road and making put Lorse. Yes, that is nice. Remember Parliament? Yeah, that is what you do. That is what you do. That is nothing special. That is something you do. That is but when it's the leader, tell me something different. Nobody telling me nothing different. So we might just be contented and say, no, it's she time now. And the conversation is Rowley cause. Rowley cause nothing. It's a whole general council. All the citizens agree with it. The majority agree with it. Whoever reason that all the business, all they agree. You can't take back your vote now about he falsely. I hear one talking about they didn't agree. Well, if you blasted didn't agree, why do you ask your sign? That deceitful thing by. You sign how she asked him. Whether they didn't agree or not, how she asked now. Where's the sense to comment about they didn't agree when they did sign? I mean, talking about a particular person. I just talking in general. You can't, people can't come to tell that I didn't agree, you know. I didn't agree with that. Because if the PNM they win election, all of them are partially asked, all who talking about they didn't agree. So stop the deceit. Take collective responsibility. Don't drop that on Dr. Rowley. He's one man, one vote. So this is penny under fire over dealings with McLeod. SAC PNM National Movement Senator Penelope Beckles Robinson is being criticized for deciding to communicate with Labour Minister Aaron McLeod over outstanding gratuity payments owed to Occupational Safety and Health Agency workers she was representing. 7 of the workers retained Beckles Robinson as an attorney in September last year to represent them in the matter. However, the delay in filing legal action against the ministry has upset the workers who are questioning Beckles Robinson's action. This after Beckles Robinson, in a text message sent to the workers on November the 14th this year and obtained by Sunday Express, said, "I have approached the matter in different ways, including through the political process." The excerpt of the text message is not sitting well with the workers. And while Beckles Robinson is adamant McLeod needed to be informed of the matter, in hindsight, she told the Sunday Express the text sent by her gave the wrong message. Beckles Robinson, who is also Lady Vice Chairman of the PNM, said, "I think the use of the words in the text message sent the wrong message. Sometimes we really have to be careful how we use words in our language." Beckles Robinson wrote to McLeod earlier this year, informing him that pre-action protocol letters relating to the outstanding gratuity payments were sent to the Permanent Secretary, Carl Francis, on October the 1st, 2020. As to why Beckles Robinson opted to communicate with McLeod while representing the workers, she said, "I indicated to the workers that I wrote to the PS and that he is taking forever to respond. I did not see any harm with letting the minister know that I wrote to the PS in relation to a matter and I have not received a response. It was drawn to his attention as to whether this is a matter that needs investigation. I did send an official letter to the minister. I believe it was something I should have done. At the end of the day, he, McLeod, is the minister. He has ultimate responsibility for the ministry. The letter was sent from a lawyer's letterhead. The workers may have felt that why I am as an opposition member writing to the government. It was really a question of me communicating to the minister, who ultimately is the one in charge, as it relates to him dealing with the PS. I did not even know if the PS brought the matter to the minister's attention." Beckles Robinson said she felt if the matter was brought to the attention of McLeod, it may have assisted in settling the outstanding issue. A total of $3,748,023.28 in gratuity payments in owed to OSHA workers for the period 26 to 10. The workers were previously employed under the Ministry of Labor, June 26 to 27, before the establishment of the OSHA. The Sunday Express learned it was following the establishment of the agency in 2007 that the workers, mainly inspectors, were offered new contracts. Documents obtained by Sunday Express shows that the contracts ended in 2010, but to date no gratuities have been paid from either the Ministry or OSHA. The contract of employment offered the workers stated gratuity and vacation leave paid and earned by staff previously employed by the ministry will be given following transaction. Beckles Robinson said, "I felt if the minister is aware of the matter, chances may be different. Why would they not want to pay the gratuity? It was not politics. I felt it was something that was necessary to do. I found it to be quite reasonable. At the end of the day, from where I sit, I felt if the minister is aware, he may want to instruct the PS to deal with the matter. Sometimes when you are a politician and also a lawyer, people tend to view things in a particular way." Beckles Robinson said she explained to the workers why she thought it was necessary to communicate with McLeod. "This is something I will have to learn from. I did not know why I saying that I would liaise with the minister would have been interpreted this way. The workers never told me not to go that way. It is something I will have to learn from," Beckles Robinson said. Beckles Robinson said arrangements have been made to refund 14,000 deposit to the workers next week. The workers were advised by Beckles Robertson to make a deposit of $14,000 to commence legal proceeding against the ministry following its failure to adhere to the pre-action protocol letter issued on October the 12th. The pre-action protocol letter sent on behalf of the workers in October said, I have been retained by my clients to commence the appropriate legal proceeding against your authority 14 days after you have received this letter if you fail to pay my clients a gratuity. However, Beckles Robertson failed to commence legal proceeding as stated in the pre-action protocol letter. Instead, in March 2013, Beckles Robertson sent a second batch of pre-action protocol letters indicating again the ministry had 14 days to respond. The sum of $3,500 was paid for issuance of the pre-action protocol letters, but according to Beckles Robertson, part of the delay was a request by the Office of the Solicitor General asking for 2 months extension to deal with the matter. Beckles Robertson said she was also aware of a similar matter in another ministry where legal action was withdrawn by workers and a settlement was agreed upon. She said court matters could go on and on. My perspective is that if you could avoid the cost of the litigation, it is better for you to do so. The money the workers paid to file the action was different from the money paid for the 2 pre-action protocol letters. They paid a deposit of $2,000 each. A draft was done, which they all saw, and I completed the actual document to be filed. There was one worker who was in Dubai, and he would have kept back the filing for a short while. He came to Trinidad sometime in August, and he signed the document. My position was if you are going to court and they are aware that the state was asked for an extension, the issue will be why would you not grant the extension if there's a possibility of settling the matter? Beckles Robertson said her objective was to ensure whether the matter would be settled without the cost of litigation and the lengthy time frame in the court when dealing with each matter. I think that was a reasonable approach. I realized the workers did not agree with my approach and the granting of the 2 months extension. So I have decided to return the deposit that was paid for commencement of the legal proceeding, notwithstanding the fact that I thought I approached the matter in the right way. Yes, there were times when they would text and I did not respond, but whenever I got responses, they were informed. The fact of the matter is that the money is owed and it is a lot of money. They wanted things to move fast, and sometimes that is not how it is done, Beckles Robertson said. There's a reason why I read this whole article, because I didn't just want to read piece and not read out exactly what she said. And I read this, and I am even more concerned now. Because you as a lawyer, you do what your clients want, not what you want. And if you think that's something, you advise them, and if they agree, they agree. If they're not, you have to do what they want to do. This does not engender in me confidence, unfortunately, in Mrs. Penelope Beckles, and especially holding the role now as opposition leader in a situation where the PNM has 13 seats. This is just me. Nobody don't have to agree with me. Nobody has to agree with me. But let me just read this quickly, because people may feel what's happening in the PNM now is something that, oh my God, whatever. And I'm saying again, where's the education programs at the PNM? They stop educating members. They stop educating the members to understand where the PNM comes from and understand that this too shall pass and this is how they treat you with that and whatever it is. They stop educating? Or is it when some crisis happens, you get a knee-jerk reaction and they put out information for you? I just asking a question. This was an article from 2014, but the incident is not from 2014. So it's Daily Express. I'll try to see if I can get to the whole thing. So it's Eric William versus Carl Hudson Phillip. Carl Hudson Phillip casts a big shadow across the land, and it is to be expected that much would be said about him. It is also to be expected that there would be differences of opinions as to who was the real Carl and what really he stood for. Carl was seen by many as a right-wing hardliner, while others viewed him as a playboy. Reggie Dumas' eulogy did well to capture him in his complexity. I once asked Carl why he had abandoned the political arena. Much to my surprise, he replied that my weekly Express columns and my Sarah poll had served to demonize him. That was a patent mama guy. Carl was, however, a big man, and political analysts love going after big vision men and women. In October 1973, Dr. Williams delivered a farewell address in which he sharply criticized the PNM and charged the party to find a successor. Carl Hudson Phillip, who was then vice chairman of the party, rapidly emerged as the frontrunner among the four men who sought the succession. Carl assumed that he was the one to succeed as he quipped, man gone, man dead. During his early campaign against Boise Privat for the chairmanship of the party, Carl startled many when he pontificated about the nature of politics and power. In his view, the purpose of politics was the maintenance of political power and control in every single group in the country. Politics was a game of total warfare, of control of people's mind. If you have power and you do not use it, you will lose it. Hudson Phillip threw down the gauntlet to Williams, whom he told, who vex, vex. Williams was blasted vexed about Hudson Phillip's challenge, and his anger counter came in a letter to the General Counsel in which he complained about the unorthodox campaign that Hudson Phillip was waging to secure the chairmanship of the party and his attempt to indicate that the campaign had his blessings. As he told the party, the political leader remains aloof from these intrigues, avoiding any display of partiality or for or against. The Attorney General's election campaign is being undertaken without my previous knowledge, consent, or authorization. I have not sanctioned, do not now sanction, and will not sanction the association either of my name or my picture with the election of any candidate for any office. Very curiously, William drew attention to the amount of money being spent by Hudson Phillip in his campaign, which he viewed as evidence of interference of foreigners in Caribbean affairs. Indeed, Carl had been deemed as a progenitor of gaudy politics in Trinidad and Tobago. Stung by the Prime Minister's obvious displeasure and clearly anticipating that he would be dismissed from the post of Attorney General, Hudson Phillip chose to resign from the cabinet and to withdraw from the elections on the ground that it will do no good to have a party chairman and an attorney general in whose integrity the undoubted political leader and prime minister had no confidence. In his letter of resignation from the cabinet, Hudson Phillip told Williams that he regretted that the efforts which he, Carl, had been making on behalf of the party, and indeed in your behalf, have been so terribly misunderstood and misconstrued. What has been seen as an attempt to challenge you was indeed, in fact, to boost and bolster you. Sinister motives have been attributed to honest and genuine. You may think misguided attempts to reactivate the party and to refurbish your image. It was an astonishingly meek statement that shows Hudson Phillip had lost his political nerve. William had seen the white of his eyes. In his reply, William told Hudson Phillip there was a philosophical difference between him and the Attorney General over the question of the relationship between state and citizen. As he wrote, "You have been publicly credited with certain statements with which I cannot possibly associate my name or my influence. The responsibility of the PNM, as I see it, is overwhelmingly to assure the contrary, irrespective of party, that it is competent to rule without making the citizens feel insecure in respect of the abuse of power either by the national executive or the party executive." Williams was abusive. He told Carl, "I deny your right to dictate to me, the political leader of the PNM, what I must or must not say in reply to a newspaper commentary and to the enlightenment of the party rank. and file as two political realities in the modern world. If your concern is to reactivate the party, as you say, by all means feel free to do so. It is now fairly general knowledge that our appraisal of what is wrong does not coincide. Our techniques vary, and my understanding of the larger and ultimate goals is more philosophical, as you are wont to say, and less superficial than yours. If the party opts for your ideas, so be it. They will have to lie on the bed they make. Williams was deliberately warning the party and the country that Hudson Phillip was a hardliner who would be far more politically repressive than he himself, though necessarily Hudson Phillip was known, in fact, to have been in favor of using strong-arm measures during the 1970 disturbances, and was the author of the now notorious Public Order Bill, which public outcry had forced the government to withdraw. William expressed regret that the bill had not been brought to cabinet before it was laid in Parliament, but it is difficult to believe that he was not aware of its contents and approved the bill. Hudson Phillip denied that the legislation which he introduced had not been approved by Williams and his cabinet colleagues. There are many myths about Carl, and perhaps he needs a book of his own to have his own story told. Right, so there's a little history of Dr. Eric Williams and Carl Hudson Phillip, and you can see the PNM always had its couture. He was always the counsel, political leader, and all who tried to challenge. I read this because you don't get this type of information in this PNM it have now. All of them fighting for power, but they're not educating the people of the party as they should no more. Everything is done half. This is my opinion. Yeah? So I wanted to read that there. I want to end by saying, and this is a quote from Anna Robinson, 1970. He says, "Our country cries out for men and women who cannot be bought and sold. Men and women who are prepared to put principle before personality, country before self, morality before power." I'm reading again, 1917. I took this excerpt from Anna Robinson's commentary he made. He said, "Our country cries out for men and women who cannot be bought and sold. Men and women who are prepared to put principle before personality, country before self, morality before power." And I want to ask them who fighting in the PNM now, in the public display, because people put it there, people who should ought to have known better and keep it inside. And one of them not even in the PNM. He had the opportunity in public utilities, I understand, when he couldn't get any way, some water meter, whatever, he left everything. So he's not a part of nothing, but out there talking loud, and was accompanied by Mrs. Baptiste Primus. Them put it out there. All them things could have settled in General Council. Whether cost or whatever, settle inside because that's the place for it. I want to ask them now, all who fighting, they're fighting for power because they feel like a rule and can run things. If you are one of the men and the women who that our country cries out for more than anything else now, and that woman or man is one who cannot be bought and sold, who is prepared to put principle before personality, before country, before self, morality, and before power. Are you one of them? Ask yourself that. You must see all who here. Sadie, Estella, Allison, Natalie, Ernie, Andrew, Lisa, Alfreda, Rudolph, Shirley, Ruby, Trevor, Ruthven, Jalila Black, Brian, Val, Andre, Jesse, Marilyn, Dandy, Persicula, Papa. I believe only make up them names, eh? Shortfoot, oh gosh, nah, stop it. Tessa, Elsa, Diamond, Trini, Jewels, like she sells, Loy, Hawaii, Sandra, Andre, Patricia, Angela, Black Pearl, Taurus, hello. Yvonne Hamilton, Jenny Bengucci, Papa, Karen, Patricia, Hollister, Judy, Melka, Nadia, Brian, Diane, Rick. Eric, darling, you're here. I hope you're behaving a blast itself. You need us come for tough love. I just wasn't on you today. Lenore Herman, Michael Philomen, Angie, Cynthia, Gloria, Balti, John, Samuel McGregor with the hyphen in the middle. Angela, Jennifer, Mary, the hair, my old friend from, I ain't going to tell all the way. Alana, Tigra, Budram. Hi, Tigra. I like that name. Yonol Campbell Taylor. Arlene, Lucien Stewart. They come in with the whole name, Papa. Brenda Hazel, Ricky Deandra, Helen Rossward from Pleasant Vale, Gaylan Caroline, Anton Jean, Ingrid, Mona. I know Mona, Miss Mona from Aruka, really nice lady. A really, really nice lady. She had a husband called Blackfoot. Blackfoot used to beat Miss Mona. I was a child, I said, sorry. The whole day, Blackfoot swinging and blasted. Hammocking going and do nothing. Mona going and look to get the money to manage the children and all kind of thing. And he just buying blasted rum and drinking. Look now. Like I see them now. Girl, Miss Mona, I don't know if you're alive, but God blessing to you, darling. You had it was to do with Blackfoot. Kim, Tintin, Marlene. I want to thank all who are locked in and tuning. And I want to tell you, I say without fear or favor, I don't have no confidence based on all the things I read in the opposition leader. Are the Americans, of course, becoming a god? I don't know everything. Could she step up to the plate? Who knows? Stranger things has happened. But I like to go with logic. Sometimes, not all the times. Because you see a pattern of things, right? And people look at patterns of things. Patterns and make a decision based on that. And the patterns of things I see ain't have me confident. It might have somebody else confident who she helped and who like she, and she never helped me and I like she. But that's still making me feel confident, right? And all who have the agenda and the ambition and feel whatever, all they think about the country that need all there and stop thinking about all their self and position. Because some of them say no, they always watch people with all their nose up in the air and pass them straight. Some who sitting down right there talking all over. People had nothing to say about them because their attitude, they feel they're better than people, they feel they're nicer than people, they feel they could dress more than everybody else. And we're talking to nobody. Yeah? All they know that. They're talking to people. They're very hoity-toities. That's what you want? To meet people? And all who pulling string. All they taking them string and busting on. And all the puppet falling on. And then you go see all the puppet master. Again, I asking. I hope all they're doing is in the interest of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And not in all the interest alone. Because all they want power and all they want position. It's not about all here. Because when it's time to vote, they're going to walk to come. The same people that's hold on their nose up and hand. They want to talk to them. They don't want to say good morning, good evening. Or they're going on by their place to ask to vote. And did they show some of you all? They ain't taking that for whatever reason, and you see. So they go along with the same trickiness. And stop blame Dr. Rowley. It have a whole general council. Deal with that. He was one man. And if all want to sit down there, and the thing all they say do, and don't take it, or they can blame me. Sometimes silence is consent. But, and all who talking is like the same thing they want to do, what they was accusing Dr. Rowley of doing. So is it? People, I love you all. See you all on Friday when I come with something fresh, something new. This is girl Jen sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny, if you want to get formal, is Miss Jennifer, Frederick, Nori, Dishon, Louis, Tobly, Ting. And who vex? Vex. Who, let me say it again, who vex? Vex. Me ask all for nothing. I may want nothing from all you. Other than all you do the right thing for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what I want. Once all you're doing that, I go away. I have my choice, but it's not me. It's not up to me. It's up to the Most High. But I have my choice. And whenever time is right, and wherever, my God will set the stage. Because plenty of them things in the spirit of God. I don't know what they're praying to, but they're very holy. So if I talk in, God talk, nobody should vex. The Most High Jah, the true living God, Almighty God, He will put things in place when I have to put in place. He said prayers without works is dead. So we're doing the work, and it's up to the Most High Jah. And we're doing honest work, true work, humble and kind, patriotic. And put it out in the atmosphere, and the Most High God, true, one and only living God, and the ancestors who paved the way also for us, and Mother, who provide the earth that we eat, and all of them, all of them, is a whole network, you know. They does know and they see, them seeing and know more than we. We just have to keep doing the right thing. So people, I love you all. You know that Miss Penny will do her best, Miss Tessa. I'm happy for you. But the best is not enough, darling. We want to hear her talk on issues of this country. Can't be waiting until it's political leader when they go in parliament. Because when they're in parliament is what is on the agenda. All the issues that concern this country, Miss Penny Beckles has been silent. So I want you to sit down there and you know she will do the best. I'm happy for you. If she does, we win. If she doesn't, we lose. So I'm happy. You must know something, you know. But as I tell you, everybody I ask Miss Tessa Graham, tell me something about Miss Beckles because I want to know. Everybody tell me she nice, she didn't pay them long time, and the treat she unfair. Me hear nothing else. And you see when they come to her skills as a lawyer, you see what they put in the papers there. The people she was representing was not pleased with her representation. Because certain things she didn't do and whatever the case may be. So you tell me, Miss Tessa, inbox me, because you may know, because I don't know everything. Tell me what Mrs. Beckles would have done, Ms. Beckles Robinson would have done, that made her the right person to lead the PNM in this state in, and what best you think that she would put forward. I just ask you, Miss Tessa, because you may know. I love you still, darling. It had nothing to do with love. We just have a difference of opinion. I don't vex with people for them thinking, y'all. I'm telling you, you have to tell me you still love me. I love you too. But I just telling you, Miss Tessa, I have no confidence in the person that you say you open to the best. It has some people who say they have no confidence in the person who I like. My member of parliament, Stuart Richard, I not vex with them. If they don't support him, I can't vex with them. But I know why I support my minister, because I know he has the ability. I've seen him do the work. We have all seen him do the work. So eternal love, lost it, darling. I love you. I love everybody else. Whether or not we agree. We can agree to disagree very respectfully and still have a love. I don't be on that. Unless it's a matter of values. My value system, and it comes not in my value system, and then we go have some challenges. But once it's political, come now, man. I don't be like that. Stuart, you all the way, of course. But we'll see how that goes, people. Don't be disappointed. Whatever play out, know it's for a purpose. Don't be disappointed. Whatever play out is for a purpose, and we used to just keep focused and do what we have to do. Always remember, we may not understand how things play out, but time to come, you go sit down and go, oh God, that's why that happened, and it's a good thing. Right now, you may not see it because we're in the middle of everything, but let me tell you something, everything have a plan and a purpose, eh? You have seen it, but the Most High seen it. Who have eyes to see? Who have ears to hear, hear. Who have voice to speak, speak. I love how they are going.
Feel the power, DJ,
touch it, bring it, baby. Touch it, bring it, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Yeah.
Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Who, me?
While I was praying, pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul.
Life too sweet, I can't complain. The only constant is the change, and we go touch the road again. So as long as they call my name, then I will answer. I'm a happy camper, and love is my sponsor. Oh, and as long as I'm man of life, then I will dance up. But I feel no anger, I'm smiling with me hands up. Yeah.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Yeah.
Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my